Good morning, everyone. It is Brenda Quintana here, and I am live as normal on Tuesday morning. Today is Casing Tuesday, so for those of you who are not familiar with Casing Tuesday, it's a day where a group of us bloggers make over a card out of one of the current Stampin' Up catalogs, and we have a Facebook group where we post all our cards and we invite all of you to join us in doing the makeover. Now you are welcome to copy the card exactly and then just post it, or you can give it a makeover like I like to do. Most of the time I take the card and I use a different stamp set, I tweak the layout, and it's just a great starting point for the card. So I'm just gonna wait about a minute. I'm just gonna blab for about a minute. So if you're watching this as a recording, if you wanna skip through that, you can. But if you're watching it live with me right now, you're stuck with me. So what's going on in my life right now? Well, I'll just chat a little bit. So as you know, I talk about this often. Our son is going off to college at the end of the month. So there will be one Tuesday that I won't be doing a live because we are going to be driving up to Waterloo in Canada. Are there any Canadians here? So I'm originally from Canada, but I live in the US. And our son is going to the University of Waterloo in Canada. And so I am going to drive him up there. My husband is going to join us a little later because he's at a conference. So it's just a mother-son road trip. And my son has never seen Niagara Falls. So we're going to stop off in Niagara Falls for a night, and then we'll head off to Waterloo the following night. And he has international orientation because he is an international student. And then he starts orientation. I can't believe it. My baby will turn 19 on the first day of his orientation. It's just crazy. It's crazy that he's going off to college. I think it really hit me yesterday. My son and I, we like breakfast food for dinner sometimes, and so I was going to make him some pancakes for dinner, and then I always give my husband something else because he doesn't buy into the breakfast for dinner thing. I don't know why, but you know, it is what it is. And so I was telling him that I was going to make these pancakes, and he had decided last minute to go out for dinner with friends. And I said, well, don't worry, I'm going to make the pancakes anyway, and I'm going to freeze them so that you can have them for breakfast. And he's like, Mom, do you think you could leave some batter so I could make some of the pancakes with you before we go? Because there's only a few weeks left. And I said, no worries, we'll do something on the weekend. So we'll make waffles on the weekend or something and then freeze those. But it's so weird. I won't have anyone to do breakfast for dinner with this coming up here. That kind of hit me hard because, that's going to be a different year. But anyway, I've blabbed long enough. I am going to start. I'll show you the card that we're going to copy today. This one is the card we're copying. Now, when I looked at this layout, I was like, oh, tricky. This could be a tricky layout because it's got a lot of free floating stuff. But it doesn't have to be tricky. I would suggest stamping the greeting on that big circle, where it says Birthday MVP, stamp the greeting. And then you can surround that big circle with some little things. They've done little sports balls. You could do butterflies, flowers, or in my case, I did a little something different. But I just wanted to share with you that it's not as hard as it seems on the outset. But I did something a little different with it. I'll show you in a second. And this is the layout here. For those of you who like to work from a layout, this is kind of the basic layout so you can get an idea. The original card, that first angle is 2 inches up from the bottom and then 2 inches down from the top, and then you just connect the line and draw it. I'm going to show you how I made mine, so I hope it will be a little clearer in a moment. let me switch to my, let me turn this off first of all. Let me switch to my scene where you can see my card. So here is my card, and I did hot air balloons, which I thought was perfect because I could use this big circle in the background as a sun. And I moved my angle of my cardstock down a bit so I had more room in the sky than I would have had if I had done kind of half and half design. So I'll show you how I did that. Rule of thirds in photography, you want to have your horizon in one of the thirds rather than having it in the center. Generally it looks better, not always, but generally it looks better if you have your horizon in the third. So I also like, since this is kind of more like a scene, if you will, it looks better that the horizon is a little bit lower. So that is the card. I am using this bundle called Above the Clouds. It comes with the Above the Clouds stamp set and the hot air balloon punch, and that's this punch right here. It punches out the bigger balloon. It doesn't punch out the little balloons, but it's really nice that you can save yourself some time with punching things out. And I know we all love punches because they're really quick and easy. Okay, so let me set this aside and I'm going to show you how I made this card. So you need to start and build those angled backgrounds. So I'm going to start with 2 pieces of cardstock. I have one here in, what color is this? I always forget this color. I don't know why. We've had so many blues, light blues over the years that I cannot, every time I think of it, I think like, is it bashful blue or it's just baby blue? I can't remember what the color is, but it is balmy blue, and it is a very pretty blue that I need to remember the name of. And this is Granny Apple Green, and each of these pieces is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut both of these at the same time. That's why I'm showing them to you, because I have 2 different colors going on. I just thought it would be easier. Let me just do this all at once. So I have these 2 pieces stacked, and I'm just going to grab a ruler and my pencil walked. So I'll take another pencil. So I just stack these, and on the left side I'm going to measure up 2 1/2 inches and make myself a little pencil mark. Then on the right side I'm going to measure up 1 inch and make myself a pencil mark. So now I have the basis of this card, and then I'm just going to cannot speak today. Ugh. Connect the dots with a pencil line, and that will be the horizon of my card. Now, if I hold both of these together and take my scissors, or you can also take your paper trimmer too, if it can cut through 2 sheets at once, you can do the same, and you just line your trimmer up on that line and cut. I'm not so worried about my line being 100% straight. I do have the pencil line as a guide, but if I cut a little bit crooked, I've got my line covered up with a piece of ribbon, so I'm not going to see exactly how crooked or straight I cut. So I don't really care if mine is perfect. So I'm just going to make sure those are lined up, and then I'm going to cut through both of those pieces of cardstock. All right. So then I have this leftover piece that I won't use, and this leftover piece that I won't use. But now I have a perfectly aligned top and bottom of the card, and I know that it's going to be the perfect size once I put it on the card base. So if you were doing that with the other, like with, if you're going 2 inches down and 2 inches up, you would do the same thing, make a mark, draw a line, and then cut. So you can do it with different measurements if you want to. All right, so now we're going to emboss, because I really like the look of a little bit of embossing to give like that subtle detail on the back of the card. I'm using the Swirls and Curls embossing folder, and what is the other one called? I wrote it down. Eyelet Lace. Eyelet Lace is a new embossing folder that we have. So I'm going to use both of those to create some texture for our card. So I've got my Big Shot here, base platform, cutting plate on the bottom, or yeah, plate, base plate. I will start with the Balmy Blue piece, put it in the Swirls and Curls embossing folder, put it down, put my very warped upper plate on the top, and run that through. Oh, I've got them going at a bit of an angle, so it's like, whew. All right. So there is, doesn't that look pretty? I love that embossing folder. I have no place to put anything today. And then let me grab my little grass piece and just stick it into the eyelet embossing folder and run it through. Why the eyelet embossing folder at the bottom? I think I chose it because it looks a little bit like flowers, and I thought that would look kind of like grass and flowers. And I was thinking Van Gogh for this, you know, the Starry Skies painting that he has. This is kind of swirly and curly, and I thought that was what I felt the sky should look like. So that is why I chose those particular two embossing folders. So let's grab the card base, and I chose Balmy Blue for my card base, 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. Then we'll take some glue. Take some glue and add it to the back. And then add this to the very top of my card. I've also glued my fingers, but I don't want them glued to the card. All right, and then glue the bottom piece. All right, and then stick this down. So when you emboss this, it kind of lifts the cardstock up funny a little bit. So it's nice to have ribbon coming across here when if you're going to emboss your two pieces. It's nice to have something that will cover that kind of weird gap that's going to be created with the embossing folder, because it's going to be different levels on both sides. So another reason to use some ribbon or a little strip of paper to cover that piece up, just to make it look a little bit more finished. So then we can take a piece of the Granny Apple Green. This is the textured weave ribbon. I really love this ribbon. It's very bright, but for this card, it is absolutely perfect. I'm going to grab some tear and tape, and I'm going to put it right down. I'm actually going to let it hang off a bit. I'm going to have it come right down, right over that crack, and press it down. And then let me grab, where'd my scissors go? There they are. All right, so I'll come from the back so I can see very well where I'm cutting off. And then I'll cut off this piece too, because I want to make sure that this goes right to the end so that my ribbon will stay down right to the end. Then I will, come on, remove the liner, and then I'm just going to place this. I want more room on my sky, so I'm just going to cover up as much as possible of the leave more blue than green, so to speak. So just right at the edge of my tear and tape, that's where I'm going to place the ribbon from the top. And then let me grab my scissors and come from the back And then you can see really well where to cut your ribbon off. And then on the other side. And that is how you do the base of the card. It looks pretty just like that. So then I'll just take a piece of ribbon and tie it into a knot, seeing as I'm doing all the ribbon work right now. I'm going to try and make the knot look nice. There, that's pretty. And then I'm just going to cut up a little bit on an angle. What have I done? Okay, yeah, that looks okay. I just need to trim it a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to take another piece of tear and tape, and I'll put it like that. I'm going to put it just on the bottom of the Granny Apple Green a bit. Let me peel this off. I have no nails right now. Kudos to all of you who do beautiful nails. I don't have the patience for that, so I'm sorry that you have to look at my not so pretty nails when I do it. I hope my cards make up for the fact that my nails aren't beautiful. And then I'll just add that on there. Using tear and tape instead of a glue dot gives me a little bit more sticky area so that this bow won't fall off, because it's quite a big bow, so I want to make sure that it doesn't fall off. All right, so that's the card base. I feel like I always do the stamping first, so I feel like I'm doing this card in reverse today. But I know I really wanted to show you how those two layers come together, because that might be something that some people struggle with. So let's do the stamping now. So I have a piece of thick Whisper White, and the reason I'm using thick Whisper White is because I'm going to pop up some of the hot air balloons on dimensionals, so I want the thickness to help, so when it's raised up, it's not going to be flimsy at all. So I'll take my hot air balloon, ink it up in Memento, and I'm also going to take the little hot air balloons and ink those up, and I'm going to take the little basket, and I'm trying to think, where's my punch? Here you are. So I'm just going to take a look. I want to be able to, I'm going to punch it out afterwards, but I want to kind of make sure that I can, let's see. If I punch it right here, then I can stamp it right here on this corner. So when I go to reach, well, that might not be the best reach. Maybe like that. I'm just trying to make it easy for myself to punch afterwards. Okay. Hopefully I did that right, and if not, I'll have to stamp them again. Okay, so let's color on here first. Easier to color, I think, than to punch first. So I decided to use some kind of unusual colors for the balloon, but I think it really works well because it just pops everything so nicely. So I'm using light Calypso Coral, light Highland Heather, and dark Crumb Cake. So I'll start with my Calypso Coral, and I'm just gonna brush over top of this balloon area with my brush tip. Maybe come a little bit on the bottom and shade a little bit. Then I'll come again with my Calypso Coral, come along and shade. And then this area right here is also Calypso Coral. Yeah, who would have thought orange and purple? Well, orange and purple actually do work well together, but these colors I wouldn't really necessarily put them together, especially in the light shade, but they do work. I don't know why. Orange and purple. So this is my Highland Heather, shading a little bit on the side and the bottom again. When you shade with the same color, it makes it easy because You really can't mess it up because it's just going to be a little bit darker. So that's why I like shading with the same color, especially when I'm in a rush. Okay, so now I'm going to use the bullet tip to do my little balloons on the side. So let's do this. I'm trying to mimic the ones I've already done on my sample card. So I'll try and do them the same way. And this one. And this one. And okay. And then the bullet tip with the Highland Heather. I'm not really doing any shading with these guys because they're so small. It's very hard to see any shading. And then I'll just come in with the bullet tip on my crumb cake. This is dark crumb cake. And then just hit the bottoms of these. And I'll come in and I'll just do my little basket. I think this is going to be the right one to do. But just in case, I'm going to color this one in as well. Okay, all my little pieces are colored in. It's a little easier if you color them right on the paper before you punch them out, because when you have a little tiny piece like this big, it's very hard to get it so it's going the right way and your fingers aren't in the way. So let me punch that. Uh-oh. Yeah, I messed up that bottom. See, I ended up punching that. So don't do that. Don't do that. All right. So this one, I'll do that one afterwards. Let me cut out the little balloons first. That is what I'm gonna do. So I'm coming around here. Don't throw that away yet because I need the little basket. It's a good thing I colored both of them. I had a feeling I was going to go wrong somehow. I've only made one other card with this stamp set and I have not put it on my blog yet. That's how busy I get sometimes. I make a card and then I forget to do a post for it, because I also want to do a video for it, and then I get too busy and then I forget that I have the card, because I was like, I know I've stamped with this set before, but yeah, I couldn't find the blog post on it because I hadn't done a blog post for it. So I should actually post that card too. Okay, so I'm just cutting these. I know some of you don't like to fussy cut, but these ones aren't too hard because they're smooth and they're small. And I think they do end up giving the card a little bit more depth. But I shouldn't have to cut out my little basket for the big balloon. All right. Okay, so now let me orient this so that I can get this into the punch. Okay, there we go. There. And that was a nice piece not to have to cut out, because that is a little small to actually cut out. But I would have cut it out if they made me to do it, because I like this stamp set. All right, so the punch goes away, way over there. Oh, and we need to stamp one more thing. I forgot. So earlier I cut a piece of, this is a piece from the Stitched Shapes dies, and it is the second largest circle out of So Saffron. So I went ahead and stamped that earlier, or stamped it. I die cut it earlier. And I'm going to use Memento again, and I'm using the greeting that says, "Let your dreams soar." And I want to stamp that to the right. I'm going to pretend this is a sunshine, to the right bottom of the sunshine, not in the center, because as you'll see in a second, I'm going to, the way I layer this up. So this is going to be to the right a bit. And then this one's going to come in like this. This one's going to come in like this. And then I'm going to have this one here, this one here, and this one here. All right, so let's glue the balloon together with its basket. Let's do that first. Ooh, that's a lot of glue. So when I do that, if I just wanted a little dab, I'm going dumpster diving. Do you ever dumpster dive when you create? Yeah, I do. So sometimes I just need a little scrap. So I'm just gonna spread my glue out a little bit with this little scrap piece so that it's not like a big blob of glue, because yeah, that would have been a big mess. So I'll just stick that right on the end of my balloon like that. And then I'm going to glue this down here first. So I'll put a little bit of glue here just so I can orient this. And let me make sure I like the placement of that. I want the words to be somewhat horizontal. It's a very scripty font though, so it's kind of hard to tell where exactly the horizontal is on that. And then that little piece is going to come afterwards. So let me just kind of situate that. Okay, so now I'm going to put Tombow all on the back of this whole piece. And then I'll just situate it where I want it. And then it's a little hard for it to stick to things because I've got this embossed piece in the back, so that's why I just put a big swirl of glue on the back so that it has different contact points. And now I'm going to use some mini dimensionals to add the little balloons to the back. So let me grab this one, and I'm going to do 2 minis on the back of this one. And I'll just stick this over here. And then I'll do a little dimensional on here. The dimensionals are also really good because they are super sticky. So I really like that, you know, they will stay where you put them. And one here. And I love the mini ones now because I used to have to cut the bigger ones up. But now these little mini ones are just perfect for the little tiny ones. And the sheet lasts me a very long time because they're so small. But it's well worth it to have that in your paper crafting arsenal. All right. Now let me get rid of these little tiny backings because they're going to bother me. Okay, they don't want to leave me. Now they're stuck to me. All right, there is my card, and here's my original card. So you can see it wasn't really that hard to do at all. And I love the bright colors, don't you? They're just like so vibrant and dark. I love that. Let me pop over here, and here I am. Okay, let me pop over here and let me see if there's any questions while I was over in my workspace. I find it hard to do both, answer the questions and work at the same time, so that's why I come over here and answer them afterwards. Oh, someone's on the beach. Oh, no way. I want to be on the beach. So Lisa said, wonder if you could use that punch for flower petals. Yes, and people have used, she's talking about this punch right here. Let me bring it into the camera. Okay, it's kind of at a bad angle. Yeah, it's reflecting things. Here, let me do this. Okay, I hope you can see that. There is the punch, and they have used that punch. I think they used it with another punch that we had to create a multi-layered flower. If you do a Pinterest search or a Google search, you will find flowers done with this punch. And there's been other things done with this punch too. So it's more than just a hot air balloon punch. You can use it for, definitely use it for other things. And it also, the stamp set here, it has this stamp right here. So you can also create kind of, it's kind of got a faded look to it. So it could also really look like a petal. So I would definitely explore your options with that punch because it is more versatile than just being a hot air balloon punch. All right, I'm back. Okay, good morning from Napa, California. Ooh, Napa sounds like a nice place to be. From Deer Park, Washington. I love Washington State. It's just below where I grew up in Canada. Okay, I don't have any other questions. So let me just remind you of a couple things. I have 2 days left. There's 2 days left of July. So there's 2 days left to get a coupon from Stampin' Up! When you place a $50 order. And I'm just going to pop out my host code here. This is my host code for the month of July. And if you use that host code and you want to get some paper, when you get your $50 coupon, not $50, $5 coupon for placing a $50 order with Stampin' Up. So for every $50 you spend, Stampin' Up will send you a $5 coupon that you can use in August. So that's great. You will also get some paper from me. I've packaged up some retired designer series paper in these cute little 6x6 packs. It has the original name of the paper. Most of the paper was originally 12 by 12 and I've cut it up into 6x6 packs. And last week I did a 6x6 project week where I showed you 5 different projects, 3D projects that you could do with paper. And so I've packaged this up and you can get some cool paper. The patterns will all be different that everyone gets because I don't have 10 or 20 of the same designer series paper. They will all be different patterns than the one that I used in my series, but they are ready to go. They're already 6x6. They're in a nice little pack. If you don't want to use them for that, you can definitely use them for cards. So it's a nice little perk for, so for every $50 you spend with me, I will send you 1 pack of my little designer series paper pack packaged up. So that's another perk. The other thing that I sent out an email to all my customers yesterday about the holiday catalog. The holiday catalog is coming very, very soon. Customers can start to order from it in September. If you want to order from it before September, here's a great deal for you. You can put holiday catalog products in the starter kit, and the starter kit is on special right now. If you spend $99 to get the starter kit, you get $155 worth of product to put in that starter kit. And if you order the starter kit as of August 1st, then you can put holiday catalog products right in your starter kit. The starter kit also ships for free, so it's a great deal. If you want to get a copy of this holiday catalog, just let me know and I will get one in the mail to you. If you let me know by the end of the month, I can put you directly onto my mailing selector, and then I can send this out to you. If you want to do the starter kit deal, please mention that to me when you're sending the holiday catalog. I send my catalogs out 2 different ways, and I would find an expedited way to get you the catalog if you want to do that, because you will want to order earlier. Probably the earlier the better, right? Because customers can order September 4th. People who have get the starter kit can order August 1st. So that is just one little aside. All right, I am back. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to join us and make over a card like us with us every week, I have a Facebook group for that, so you can go ahead and join that. The link is in the description of this video, and we would love to see what you come up with. I've already popped over to the thread today to post my card, and there were already 2 people on there that have posted their cards. So it's neat to see. We have a group of bloggers that do it every week, and then we always have extra people that join in and share their card with us. And I think that's great because we all do the same card each week, and it's a great way to see how one layout can end up being multiple different cards. And the 2 people that have posted their cards today they look different than mine. So that's the cool thing. You can take that base and change it into a bunch of different cards. So thank you so much for joining me. And I do have a couple more blog posts planned for later this week, so stay tuned for that. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.